Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat.
Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are.
There it is, team. Morning. Morning, wherever you're tuning in from today.
Early bird gets the worm, they say. Here at Positive, we offer a 6-star team. It's a team that help you at every stage of your wealth creation journey.
General advice disclaimer. The information provided and made available through this podcast does not constitute financial advice. The information is of a general nature only and does not take into account your individual objectives, financial situation, or needs. It should not be used, relied upon, or treated as a substitute for specific professional advice. We recommend that you obtain your own independent professional advice before making any decision in relation to your particular requirements or circumstances. Positive Tax Solutions and its representatives do not warrant the accuracy, completeness, or currency of the information provided on and made available through this podcast.
Good morning, everyone, to Wealth Coffee Chats and Tax Tuesday. My name is Anthony Wolfenden. I'm a tax financial advisor. We're going to have a bit of a chat today about tax rates and different types of entities and how to use lower taxes to improve your investment return by simply keeping more money. But before we do that, I want to remind everyone that there is a property summit on the Gold Coast. It's being held up here, second time recently. First time we did this last year. It was an amazing event. It's on the 13th to the 15th of June. Anyone who's interested in attending that, you can learn about property investment, how to make money through that investment. We're going to have industry expert speakers there. The 6-star team will be there to answer questions. Really, really powerful. You get to play the game of property investment, and it is a game, make no doubt about that. It's a full contact sport, in fact. You need to do it with professionals. So come along and see what it's like in a compressed format. As I said, 13th to the 15th of June. We'll play a video on that, and there should be a link if you're interested in attending. We hope to see you there.
All right, this is going to be fun. Who has played the property game before? Who has been in the game? Who's never played the property game before? Oh, you're in for a treat. Who likes Monopoly? Did anyone like Monopoly when they were a kid? Well, this is Monopoly in real life in this room. Every hour or so, you guys are going to be up and you're going to be running around the room like maniacs trying to play the property game and win the property game.
Today, I wanted to share the lessons, the mistakes, and the wins.
I want everybody to put up their hands who knows their interest rates on all their loans right now.
If you haven't seen me around before, like 13 years in the industry, in property management specifically.
Who likes paying tax? If you need help finding somewhere to donate, I'm sure I can find somewhere else where it can go. We've got an expression in that, let's go and make new mistakes in the world. Who wants to make new mistakes?
These are just strategic moves that can make such a big difference.
So obviously buy well, never sell. Definitely the majority of what everyone's looking to do is collect some A-grade assets, B-grade assets, whatever it might be.
I loved the idea of being a property investor and developing that identity.
Collectively, they have way more years experience in everything that you think you're trying to solve. Because they do it every single day.
Okay, that was the intro to the Property Summit. I was there last year. We had a ton of fun, so I hope to see you guys there. Look, today I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about different entity classes in Australia and the tax we pay. If we think about it, whatever you happen to invest in and whatever the returns might be, and hopefully you're investing well, if you do that in a way that you pay less tax, you're going to keep more money, which is really the goal. So let's go through a few of them, the pros and cons, and this is a general conversation as a financial advisor. I need to say that. You've seen the disclosure. But let's talk about tax and how to use it to our advantage. So for human beings, individuals, the tax rates start quite low. You can earn up to 18,000, pay no tax at all. Of course, between then and 45, you pay a little bit more, about 16% this year, 15% next year, 14% the year after that with some of the proposed changes from Labor if they win. But from 45 upwards, it starts to get a little bit more bitey. If you earn more than 45,000, you're going to pay 30% tax. If you earn more than 190,000, you pay more than 135, you'll pay 37% tax, and then up to or above 190, you'll pay 45. Now, on top of that, there's a Medicare levy, and if you don't have health insurance, there might be Medicare surcharges. So the rates climb pretty steep. And I guess the way to think about it is, for the bulk of what we earn, we're probably going to get pinged at about a third. And then if you earn really, really well, you're going to lose almost a half, 50% tax, 47% with the Medicare levy. So it gets pretty brutal. So a lot of people look to invest in other ways if they're going to have really substantial income. Another way that you might invest or whole things are companies. And companies generally pay a rate of 30% tax on everything. That includes capital gains. There's no general discount in there, so that's something to consider. There is a lower rate of company that pays 25% tax. It's called a base rate entity, but there's a few restrictions around that. It's got to carry on a business, and you can't have any more than 80% of the income in that entity from passive sources. So that might be things like property investment. So for people investing property in companies, it tends to be sort of less popular because you're kind of at the same tax rate. You're losing about a third as you would elsewhere. There's no general discount. You've got the problem then of, you've also got to extract the money somehow if you want to use it. So companies tend to get used a little less for property investment unless you are earning bucket loads of money or there's a huge tax problem individually. So that sort of moves us on to things like trusts. And I hear people being told to use trusts all the time because they can borrow more money, or it's about risk protection or something like that. This is general terms I hear. But we want to be a little careful from the tax perspective, and this is where clients need really good advice. If you're going to buy in a trust, as an example, well, you've got to do that at the beginning. You can't move stuff there later without getting stung capital gains and stamp duty yet again. So you've got to know what you're doing as you're purchasing, and this is where you need the good advice as you're doing it. And the first thing to say is, well, trusts aren't really great for tax because if you leave any money in there, it pays tax at a rate of 45% because the government just goes, well, we're not sure who the money really belongs to, so we'll just ping you at the maximum rate. So the whole point of a trust really is you've got to distribute the money to someone who'll eventually pay the tax. And that kind of brings up the question of, well, who are you distributing to? If you've already got a tax problem, you don't want to distribute to yourself, so you've got to distribute to someone else. But here's the key thing. Whoever you do distribute the money to, who pays presumably a lower rate of tax, you've got to leave the money with them. If you take it back, the ATO kind of looks at that and goes, well, that's not really fair. You kept the money, so you should be paying the tax, which negates the whole point of having a trust kind of in the first place. You've also got to think about what happens if you're putting negative gearing properties or negative geared properties in a trust, because if it's the only thing in there, then you kind of lose all the benefits of negative gearing. If the trust only holds a property, and if the property is running negative, then the trust doesn't have income. If the trust, or negative income it has, if the trust has negative income, it's not paying any tax. And if it's not paying any tax, you can't claim any tax back. And so that means you have to put money in the trust to prop it up for whatever amount it's negative. And of course, that money needs to come from outside, which means it needs to be post-tax income for whoever makes the trust contribution. And so everything going on negative gearing in a trust kind of is costly. Long term, it can be benefit if something is spitting out wads of cash. Car parks and commercial properties might do that. Then holding it in a trust with multiple beneficiaries across the family can be really, really powerful. But you need to think about how long you might be holding stuff. Is there any other income? Is the property going to be negative for a long time before you stuff in there, I guess. So talk to someone smart. You do get all the benefits of asset protection. You might get better lending, but taxes may be against you. Speak to your accountant or your financial advisor before establishing that. Finally, one of the entities I love most of all, because I don't like playing the game of 30% or a half paying tax in that range. That's bad. Super. And I'm going to spend future Wealth Coffee Chats talking about this particular entity. Superannuation, immensely powerful. I'm not saying that I love, industry super providers, though they tend to do a pretty good job. I'm talking about the super environment in general. And from a tax perspective, it's a beautiful vehicle. While you're in accumulation phase, so this is before you meet a condition of release, the tax rates in superannuation are 15%. Very low. Capital gains, if you hold an asset for more than 12 months, there's a discount on that. So you only pay 10% capital gains tax. And once you've met a condition of release, hopefully you're doing all this right and planning it correctly at age 60, up to $2 million as of next year, will be completely tax-free for all earnings, all income, and all pension payments. And so wonderful vehicle for considering investment. Yeah, you can't touch it till you're older, but believe me, it comes up on you fast. And having something completely tax-free when you turn 60 is a wonderful thing to do. So I'd ask you at the end of the day, do you have a goal for $2 million in super by the time you're 60 years of age? If you don't have that goal, you should probably consider getting that goal. And if you don't know how you're going to do it, come speak to someone like me and we can map it out for you. And I'll leave you with the two things that are best tax-wise in Australia. For most people, there's only two things that are completely tax-free. The first is your principal place of residence when you sell it or downsize it. The second is superannuation in pension phase when you've met a condition of release. That's for most people. There are small business concessions for the folks who want to do that stuff, but that's not everyone. So I think every Australian who has access to it should take advantage of those no tax vehicles, your home and superannuation. Okay, that's a general overview of the space. I'll spend future Wealth Coffee Chats digging in a little bit more. Thank you very much for attending today, and I hope to see you all at the Property Summit in June.
Thanks for watching another episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6 Star team here at positivementor.com.au.